Yo, this is Quentin Moore chilling in the Cigar Lounge.
This is the Captain, Hobo King 82. Hi, guys!
Yo, this is MJ from Hot Garbage Cigar Club, and you're watching Cigar Lounge and Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, Cigar Lounge and Podcast. I'm flying solo. My co-host, they being bitches somewhere where it's cold at. I'm your local hero here with my very special guest. Y'all might have saw him for the clip that I did when I was at TPE. We got Kevin Newman right here. Let's get, first of all, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Secondly, he got a jacket on, but it ain't as cold there as it is with some of y'all, because we cold in the motherfucker. He just cold. So
not even cold, it's chilly.
Just chilly.
I mean, I can't even say, I can't even complain.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. I got off that plane and I was driving home, and I lit up that Big Poppy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's one of I like, man, look, I'm gonna go ahead and smoke this real quick. So thank you for that.
Yep.
First, let's get into, and you know what? I'm gonna forgive you for the Green Bay cup. Me being
I usually get it out of the way right away.
Me being a Chicagoan, I'm gonna forgive you for that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Aha.
Why don't you go ahead and let the people know a little bit about you, man, how you got started and everything.
Sure. My name is Kevin Newman. I'm Vice President at Artista Cigars. I've been doing this in the cigar business now for about 15 years. Got started in social media, actually, working for a distributor. I've been smoking cigars for a long time. Started smoking cigars at like 21, 22. And I thought I knew a lot about the cigar business till I got into it. And then it was like a whole new game. One of the things I learned about the cigar industry, man, cigar business in general, it's wide open. People open up their doors to you. People open up their hearts and their lives to you. And if you're talented, you know, cream rises to the top, man. And people just kept pulling me in. So I went from social media guy to a brand manager. I don't know if you remember Psycho 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the K in Psycho.
Okay.
They're like, hey, first project for you, son, is we're going to have you launch a new cigar brand. I'm like, yo, all right. That took off. And that was really cool. So I got started with that did that for a while. And then I bounced from there over to Artista Cigars, and again, just kept moving up. Now I'm settled in at vice president, been there for a couple of years now at that role, and it's been good, man. I mean, the cigar industry is fun. It's a lot of just hanging out, smoking, thinking, and drinking. But generally speaking, like, people are very, very nice in this industry, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's fun. It's fun to be here and doing this with you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, TPE, I was like, hey, can I get a quick little story with you? Like, yo, sure. Like, okay, cool. Like,
of course, man.
And you, now, were you ever in sales? Because the way you described the cigar when we did that little short clip, and the way you moved through it was like real effortless. Was you ever a sales guy, or this just comes natural?
Never really a sales guy, honestly. I mean, sure, I've had business cards that say sales jackass, but I never really sold anything, dude. I mean, honestly. However, I can say this. I was trained by some of the best guys in the industry. You know, I mean, like I've said, like, people just open up their doors and their hearts and their lives. One of the things I did early on that my boss told me to do, but I didn't understand it. He goes, what are you doing in the office? I'm like, I'm working. He's like, no, like, what are you actually doing here? Like, you need to get out there. call up the head of sales and just ask if you can travel with him and his crew for like the next 6 weeks. So folks just kind of showed me the ropes, you know, how to walk through something, how to explain something, especially like with cigars and that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But also, man, I kind of like being on camera.
See, the opposite of my brother.
I don't know if you're familiar with my buddy Myron from the Average Joe blog. But he and I go way back, years and years and years. And he says, I make love to the camera. It's probably true. I tell him I'd rather make love to him. The handsome bastard. But no, for real, like I just have a good time with it, man. I mean, this isn't serious, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we're going to take your show seriously. We take everything seriously that we do, but cigars are just fun.
Yeah. It's conversation, fun conversation. So let me ask you, I'm sure you've been to a lot of places. Can you name off the top of your head, like one of the cities that you love to go to? Because you're like, man, they got some great shops. We're going to have a great time, you know.
Brother. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say Chicago, because I love Chicago, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best times I had was out there in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. But
I've recently fallen in love with Nashville.
Mm.
I was out there a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
The cigar community out there is super vibrant. It feels almost fresh, which is hard in this industry to find something that feels fresh,
Mm-hmm.
because it's usually just kind of a bunch of dirty old dudes. But I mean, everywhere I went, it was awesome. I mean, the music, the food, and then you got the background, all that background going on, and then you've also now got cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that some folks have embraced it, yeah, bro. Nashville for sure.
So I'm about to check that. I heard that too. You're not the first person to tell me. I'm going to check Nashville out. You're not the first person to tell me that. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Nashville. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Charlotte as well in the cigar scene.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of good things about them. So
there seems to be some new blood in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a excuse me, it's a result of, you know, some guys are just getting tired of it. They've been doing it 30 or 40 years. They're passing the shops on to their sons.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're selling them or closing them up. But in any event, some folks are replacing those old guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bringing interesting new ideas to the space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all about the new, man. I mean, I know I got gray in the beard and it goes all the way to south below border, but I'm willing to listen to new ideas and embrace it as well. You know, like, we can't keep doing what we've always done, because we're just going to continue to lose if that's the case. But there's definitely a new voice, and I'm loving it. And I heard it in Nashville. I've heard about Charlotte. I haven't been out Charlotte in a couple of years now. Atlanta's got it going on. Baltimore's got it going on.
I'm not too far from Baltimore. I'll go up there often.
I'm sure you felt it there too.
Mm-hmm.
I know the old guard is changing, man. And yeah, I felt the noise in Nashville.
That's honestly, when we was doing our podcast, when we started the podcast, that was our mind state. Like, these old dudes don't speak for us. Like, they're not saying, well, they don't talk like us, they don't walk like us, they don't dress like us, they don't smoke like us. We gotta go and put our own flavor on it. So I agree with, I think that's what was happening with a lot of shops. There's a lot of females opening up a lot of shops too. And they got some great shops, some great fucking shops out there. So I see what you're saying. I definitely see that. So when it comes to cigars, like, how do you come up with your next cigar idea? Like, we're gonna do let's say for name or concept. Like, this is the concept I'm going with. This is the name. Like, how do you brainstorm that type of stuff?
Things have changed over time for me, because I used to just come up with brands, ideas, you know what I mean? And we would kind of flesh it out honestly, over a bottle of whiskey. Nowadays, though, we've got a little bit more plan. We've got it, like we got the Artista series right here, and it's all based on color. So like this is the Artista Harvest, and then we got the Midnight, and we got a new one coming out next month. So that's all on a plan. That's kind of boring, but it's part of what we do now because we kind of grown up as a business. However, on the other side of the business, we have this thing called Artista Studio Works, where we can come up with crazy ass ideas. And honestly, stuff comes to me in the middle of the night. It could be like just some wild idea where I have to like really work it out. Like honestly, like with a pen and paper, like, all right, I got an idea. It's called Paperboy. Like, what am I going to do with that? It's an honest to God cigar that we have. Or it could be like Psycho 7, where Psycho 7 just kind of wrote itself. Like we just came up with the name, we spelled it weird, we threw it out there, and the community embraced it and literally made it their own. There was guys when we had Psycho 7, there was guys with a license plate, PSYKO 7. They were sending us artwork so that we could include it in, all of our trade materials and stuff that we gave away. So it really just depends on the direction you're going in. My most favorite thing to do, honestly, and I'm glad you asked this question, Anthony, local hero, is coming up with a new idea. Brand sex, man. Like really pounding one out and just coming up with an idea that is crazy. And just because it's the most fun, Dad. It is the absolute most fun thing in the world.
It's crazy that you just said pounded it out with no pause behind it, but we're going to go ahead and rock with that. We're going to rock with that one. So
I say it unironically, dog.
Let me ask you a question. Because we talk to a lot of boutique brands. We talk to a lot of people who are actually getting started into the business. If you can give them advice on how to navigate and grow their business, or if you get them any type of advice that you didn't necessarily get started, what would you get them?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Here's the thing. I want guys to be in this industry. Guys, doesn't matter what your background is. You got $3 in your pocket or 300 million. But do it for the right reasons. Money, it cannot be one of them. Money's a byproduct of the love. It's a byproduct of the hard work. Don't do it for the money. I know there's a few guys that have called me up and said, hey, I'm going to get in this. I'm going to make some money. I'm like, no. There's not a whole lot of money in the cigar business. There's a whole lot of love. There's a whole lot of support. There's a whole lot of fun. So you got to first, before you whip out your credit card or sign your life away to get your first batch of cigars, you got to ask yourself why you're doing it. Because the money will eventually show up, but it may be 10 years down the road. But you're going to have a bunch of relationships. And I mean, I think that kind of segues into the next thing, which is be yourself, man. I mean, don't try to be something you're not. If you live in Minnesota and you'll talk like this, don't say you came over on a pongo boat from Cuba with a bag of seeds that your grandfather gave you. Because that's not going to resonate with people. Everybody's going to know that that's BS. Be yourself, And there's a few folks out there that I'm around them all the time. So we see each other all the time. And Chris over at Carolina Blue is a good example of that.
I talked to him a couple times. He got a good cigar.
He's a good dude, man. He's solid. And he started out, he didn't know what to do. And he kind of asked me the same question. And I'm like, that just be you, man. Like, Realize you're not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Realize not everybody's going to love you or your cigar. That goes from retailers all the way down to consumers. But, just come at it from an authentic point of view. Because today's cigar consumer wants authenticity more than anything else.
That's true.
They don't want to be lied to. Most guys know the bullshit in this industry is how we fertilize the tobacco fields. But they're kind of tired of it, man. They want to connect with the right person, somebody that speaks to their needs. And you said it earlier, like you did this whole podcast for that reason. Yeah. So just be you. And then everything else will just fall into place. Like you'll find your audience. The retailer will love you because you're you consistently, always the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be expressed in your brand. That'll be expressed in how you do your events, and then your audience will just amplify it.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you a question about your cigar, the Big Papi.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys come to create that collaboration? How did that happen?
Just like everything else in the Dominican Republic, man, a guy knows a guy. You want to come by, say hi? It just went like that. We knew a guy who knew David's father. David's father is a barber in Santo Domingo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk to David. Maybe he wants to do a cigar. I don't know. All right. So David came over to the factory when he was in Santiago, sat down and said, hey, I'd like to make a cigar, but just for me to smoke on the weekends or after games. He was still playing ball at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll give it away at some charity event or something. So, okay, cool. So no band, just naked bundles. He walked through what he was looking for. A little bit of citrus, a little bit of spice, a little bit of leather, kind of like being at Fenway Park on opening day. And we put together a few blends for him, but he wanted to be a little bit more involved than that. So he started saying, hey, let's move some of this tobacco around. Let's do that. And eventually we settled on a blend that's a little expensive. It's got some really good tobaccos in it, top tier stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's also a medium bodied cigar. It's not a tooth kicker. It's not outrageous. Now, you smoked the Red Band?
Yeah.
The original Big Papi, yeah. Is that correct? Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. So we did that with him for like 3 or 4 years. So he would give it away at his golf tournaments, his charity events. He'd give it away after games. And then he goes to retire in 2015. He told us, he's like, hey, I'm going to retire the whole thing. I'm going to do a few projects. This is one of them. I'd like to market it commercially. Will you do that with us? I was like, sure, not a problem. It's expensive cigar, like maybe we'll have to change the blend to bring it to market. He goes, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. We'll work something out on the back end. So maybe I take a little bit less money, but don't change the blend. That's my blend. That's what I want out there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So he did, he took a little bit less on the cigar so that everybody could have the same blend that Big Papi's been smoking for years. And that was a good move on his part.
Yeah, because the price point is great on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you said expensive, I was like surprised. Like, it ain't that expensive of a cigar, but when you said he took it a little bit on the back, I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. You can definitely charge about $3 or $4 more, easy.
Yeah, honestly, it's all premium stuff. A lot of that stuff comes from our farms in Ecuador and the DR. Mm-hmm. We're super proud of that cigar, super proud of the blend. And, it's always a challenge to keep it going from year to year, making sure it's all the same. It tastes the same. Yeah. But we love it. And it's been 7 years that we've been doing that cigar commercially, almost 10 years with David. And it continues to rock, man. The Northeast buys it like crazy, like you would expect. There's still a huge contingent out there that loves David. But but it does well in the Southeast as well, and in the South, generally speaking. So, I mean, it does well. You start to get to Texas, you fall into Houston. Nobody wants to see that box.
Of course. Understandable. I'm surprised they smoke. I know in New York, they like, take the ban off this motherfucker.
Dude. So I was at a cigar event. Like, we were giving away Big Poppy and another brand of ours. Homie walks up. He's got a little NY right there on his beanie. He looks at the cigar. He goes, "Oh, no, I can't even look at it." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Nah, it's the season. I can't even get around that thing right now." All right. Take two of the other ones, dude. You're so superstitious.
That rivalry is real.
Now we've got another Big Poppy out there called the Slug. Did you smoke that one? I know I gave that one.
I smoked the Slugger. That one was good. That was good. Because I haven't seen the Slugger. Like, that was the first time I saw the Slugger. Was there. The regular ones, I can get them around here, but that was the first time I saw the Slugger. I was like, oh, okay.
Nicaraguan dominant blend. A little bit stronger, full body.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too.
Did you smoke the 760?
No.
The big one.
I ain't smoked that one yet. No, I ain't smoked that one yet.
Yeah. That one's interesting. Because David wanted a cigar that looked like a cigarette in his hand. So call it the Gordo XL. But that's another blend where he was directly involved. And he's like, I needed something stronger, a little bit darker. I want something that it's got a little bit more punch to it, just generally speaking. So like you ramp everything up. And that's done very well. The Robusto smokes super well, but the 7x60, you feel like a king. I feel like a leprechaun holding a tree trunk, but you feel like a king smoking that cigar. It's a good cigar.
No, it is. It definitely is. All right, so I want to let people know, like, people see you, man, when you talk, they might think it's easy, man, but how do you get over the growing pains, man? Like when you're trying to, when you at that, when you try to get to the next level, but you know what I'm talking about, you're there and you're trying to get over, like,
yeah,
and you try not to get in your head, like, how do you get over that? Like, how do you focus and get to that next level?
Yeah, man. I think everybody approaches it a little bit different. For me, it's easy to get lost in my head. There's a lot of air up there. A lot of trap doors I can fall into, get all anxious about stuff. For me, really honestly, it's getting out there. If I start to get antsy because I've been behind a computer for too long, I got to get out. I got to get out into the trade. I got to go to a cigar shop. Just go and sit down and talk. There are times when you just hit a plateau, like financially, emotionally, spiritually. You hit a plateau, and it's those relationships that will pull you over the line and get you up and over that plateau. I can't tell you how many times, brother. I mean, I have called somebody just kind of out of the blue, kind of early in the morning, like this, or super late at night. And I'm like, tell me I suck. Like, confirm for me that I'm as terrible as I think I am. Some of them do. Those are the ones I love the most. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're terrible."
They get you what you want.
The reason why you plateaued is because you're not good. Now the other ones, honestly, everybody has always been honest with me because that's what I ask for. But it's like, oh yeah, okay, I hadn't considered that. I need to focus on that or whatever the situation is. But it's always been the relationships, because it's the relationships that get you through the tough times. It's the relationships that get you the business. It's the relationships that sustain you during all that difficult time. Every day is difficult, man. I mean, even when you're doing well in the cigar business, like you're still falling behind.
Yeah.
Because there's no time to rest on your laurels. You get a win today, well, you got 0 tomorrow. So let's get one up on the board for tomorrow. I don't know if I answered your question fully, but that's how it is. That's how it is for me, man. Honestly, it comes down to relationships. People say I make friends quick. What I try to do, honestly, is just be me. So, like, you asked me to jump on that camera at TPE. I'm like, heck yeah, man, let's do it. Because then you're gonna get to see me, and if you like me, cool, let's be friends. It's like playground for me.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, now I know somebody in Chicago.
Yeah,
I know somebody else in Chicago. You know, so like I show up at your doorstep.
Well, so technically, my co-host is in Chicago right now. I'm outside of DC, but I'm born and raised in Chicago. Grandmother still lives there. Family still lives there. So whenever I go back, I don't get a hotel. I just say
even better, dude. DC is cool.
So let me.
You go to Georgetown Tobacco?
Yeah, TNC. They got great lounges. It's just the fucking parking sucks. It's just
parking terrible.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Fucking horrible there. But so
it's garbage.
Let me ask you this: if you go back to the beginning of your journey, knowing what you know now this is your own personal thing. What would you tell yourself about the journey that you're about to embark on?
Man, I feel like I should have smoked a little weed before I came on the show, because these are some deep philosophical questions, man. But I like it. It's unique. It's not like tell me your favorite cigar. What would I tell myself? All right. I probably tell myself the same thing one of my coaches in high school told me. You're gonna fuck up, and it's gonna feel like death, but that's okay, because it's not. You're gonna get up, and you're gonna get back into it, and it's gonna feel like you don't want to do it. Yeah, that's all right. Just keep going, because mistakes is what makes us better. As long as you look at it as an opportunity to improve. And man, I've made a lot of mistakes, man. A lot of mistakes, both on and off the field of cigars. And ultimately, it has made me better. But boy, oh boy, when you're in the midst of it, when you're in the midst of feeling the effects of that mistake, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like you're going to get any better. So, yeah.
Yeah,
man.
My stance has always been, fuck it, it should work out. It keeps me from worrying. Like, fuck it. Yeah, fuck it should work.
Well, there's times. There's times.
I guess you ain't worried about it. The shit already happening. Fuck it, it'll work out.
The hardest one is when you don't know what that decision, you're about to make a decision. You have no idea.
Yeah.
And we take a lot of risks, honestly. You know, I'm vice president. You know, my buddy, Ram, the president of Artista Cigars, he loves just doing crazy stuff. And we're never, ever prepared for it, dude. We're never prepared. He's like, I mean, a couple years ago, dude, for example, he goes, what are you doing like in 3 weeks? I'm like, it's like August, September. I'm like, well, I'm going to Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. Probably get a haircut. Why? He's like, come to Europe with me. I'm like, why? We getting married? He's like, no, there's a cigar tobacco trade show, and I want to go, and I think we should like figure it out. Maybe we can sell cigars in Europe. Like, let's go. And we did. And that was like 6 years ago, dude. I mean, that's kind of what you do. You never know. And that could have just failed traumatically. Now we're in 24 countries, man.
Okay.
And we made a lot of mistakes while we were doing that. But you just gotta do it. You just gotta go for it. Get it in.
So
to quote Larry the Cable Guy.
So where is your biggest market? Like where you sell, I'm talking as a total. What's your biggest market where you sell it?
The US, of course. There's probably going to be some guests you'll have on that may say this is wrong, but I think the majority will agree with this statement. My observations almost over 15 years goes like this. Cigars are sold in the US. It's not just the actual tobacco itself, it's the idea, it's the branding, it's the merchandising, it's the love, it's the demand for the cigar happens in the US. Once that cigar catches wind, then it kind of spins out into the other markets. Germany is going to be a close second to the US. Their consumption's pretty high. Switzerland's pretty high as well. But like Norway, Sweden, those guys, they punch well above their weight. Taiwan, honestly, it's amazing. They love cigars. They smoke like crazy. A lot of military personnel out there. But, just you'd be surprised. These tiny little countries, not that Taiwan's tiny, but it is a country. And they read what's going on in the magazines. They read what's going on the blogs. They listen to the podcasts. They engage in the community, and then they want what's over here. So the U.S. is the largest market for sure, but it creates the demand for those smaller markets that, don't get as much love. And that's what we do. Honestly, like we move into markets all the time. So say, hey, it's a small market like Switzerland or something like that. They smoke a lot of cigars. It's like, let's do an event. Let's go have fun. I'll fly from California to Switzerland. We'll go for a week and we'll just go from shop to shop to shop. I'll speak terrible German. Yeah, and we'll have a good time.
So we did, it's funny you say Germany. We had the guys from Cigar Engineers here, and they were talking about that because they finally got into the market. They finally started getting the market here. And he was like, his observation for Germany, he was like, they like America because America is younger. The smokers are younger. He's like, Germany, they mostly middle age or older. But when you come to America, you see 20, 30-year-olds smoking, 40-year-olds. You're like, so I get what you're saying. It's kind of like, we make it kind of a little bit cool, and
make it a lot cool.
They follow the thing. So I get it because that's basically what he said. So I get it. I would like to smoke a cigar.
America's so diverse. We've got so much here. We import hundreds of millions of cigars. So there's an opportunity. And when a brand catches wind, maybe it matches your marketplace. There are a lot of like older smokers in Germany, no doubt. But there's a vibrant community out that way that the idea is continuing to grow with them. But they're a homogeneous population. They're not like the U.S., which is super diverse. And, between their taxes and everything, it kind of does make it a little bit of a rich man's game out that way. But, we try to offer stuff at different price points so that everybody can jump in and get a premium level experience. But it is different in Germany. But it's so much fun.
I bet. So, yeah. Like I said, y'all got some great affordable sticks, like really good affordable sticks. And I think that's like, so like me and my buddies, we talk about cigars. Of course, we like the smoke output, the taste and everything, but we also look at the price point. Like for certain price points, like, oh, this is a good cigar, but I don't like it at that price point. It's probably a little too much, or it's probably a little too, so I think that's a lot of thing a lot of consumers do too. A lot of us talk about that. The price point. is kind of important too. So the fact you guys putting them cigars out there, the price point you guys putting them out there, is great. I do enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, we work really hard to make sure that the cigars are accessible, like our brands are accessible to everybody. It helps a little bit. Well, it helps a lot that we own our own factory, that we own our own fields. We've been doing this. I say we, it's not really me. It's the Rodriguez family. They've been doing it in the DR for almost 70 years, man. They're third generation. The largest tobacco leaf grower in the Caribbean, Tabacalera El Artista. And so that means we get our hands on really good quality tobacco, and we do it in bulk. So it's kind of like going to Costco. The more you buy, the more you save. We take a little bit of that and we put it into our cigars, which, gives you the best quality at the best possible price. And then I fight for the consumer all the time, because our cigars are super good, but most people won't be able to try them if they're $30 a stick.
That's true.
So, I grew up poor, man. So I'm real sensitive to certain things. And I'm like, Dad, let's give this a fair price. We'll make it up in volume. And if you've tried our Buffalo 10, that's the classic stick where I went rounds with the family. Like, no, man, we need a stick that's affordable. And they're like, the cigar's too good for that price. I'm like, great, that's awesome. We'll make, whatever the number is, we'll make that 1,000,000 times over if that's the case. And they took a chance on me. I'm the only gringo in the company, man. I mean, it's kind of wild. I'm the crazy guy too, right? Like, they're all like normal, really intelligent, very relaxed type people. And I'm just in there like, but it worked. It worked. Buffalo 10 retails for like $5 and change, almost $6 in some areas.
Yeah.
But we sold over 1 million of those sticks, man. And that's because it's affordable. And we can do that because we have the leaf, we have the hands, we have access to the market, and we're vertically integrated. So from soil all the way to shelf, we make the cigar, we import our own cigars, we distribute our own cigars. Yeah. So honestly, if you can pick up a Buffalo 10 or a Big Poppy or something like that, you're absolutely getting the best possible tobacco at the absolute sharpest price.
So when you gonna come out with a Gringo Kevin?
Yeah, I know, right? My nickname south of the border, and sometimes north of the border too, depends, is Mr. K or Senor K. And we actually had an internal program when I worked for a different company. It was an internal name for a cigar called the Mr. K. And some people didn't realize it was just a code name. They actually thought it was the actual brand. And some folks were getting kind of pissed off. They're like, they're naming a cigar for you? What are you, some sort of prima donna? And I kind of laugh on the inside because I'm like, dude, it's just a code name, man. Like, it's not real. And I'm like, yeah, I deserve it. I work hard. I don't really want a cigar named after me, man. Like, honestly, Anthony, if it wasn't for you, me personally, wouldn't even be doing this podcast. Because normally I don't do it. Normally I push out Ram into the limelight because he hates it. But also, I don't need to be the guy out front. You know what I mean? I come by it naturally, obviously, but yeah, I connected with you and I kind of like what you were doing, and I reviewed some of your stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll jump in there. But normally I push Ram out front because he's the authentic real deal, dog. Like, for real. Third generation, grew up in the factory, been pushing leaf his whole life. And he went through that like teenage phase where you don't want to do the family business. So like he went to school in upstate New York. He's like, I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to get us to the moon or something like that. I don't know what he was going to do with his life. And then he came back when he was like 19 or 20. And that's when I met him, actually. I met him first when he was 21. Mm-hmm. And he just started getting back into the industry. And he's the most humble dude ever, man. He's the most relaxed. Yeah, he's a real deal. And again, that's why I do this business. It's the personalities and it's the relationships, and it's cool, man.
We'll love to have him.
So no cigar for me.
We'll love to have him on too. But like I said, at TP, I was like, I gotta have this guy on it. He has to be on the fucking show. We gotta work this out somehow.
And it just worked out, like, honestly, because I normally try to do this stuff on weekdays, but it worked out great for the weekend.
Yeah. I'm doing shit today, probably drinking and smoking and, cursing at people.
And there's no football on, no college football, and we're done. We're done for a little while at least.
Looking forward to retirement. That's why I said I'm going to Florida. I'll give me a rocking chair. Mm-hmm. Get off my lawn. Already practicing.
Get off my lawn.
I yell at squirrel. Get off my lawn. I'm just practicing. No, man. No.
Yeah, you got to deal with iguanas out that way, man. Forget about squirrels and kids. They got iguanas.
Yeah, I didn't know
crocodiles.
I didn't know Maryland they got like little lizards. Like I used to see them running around. I was like, what the fuck? I thought somebody let a lizard loose, but no, they're like fucking like they're native to here. And I was like, where the fuck is these lizards coming from? Where's all these? I thought they escaped somebody's house or something. Like, I didn't know they had lizards down here. What the hell?
Call the zoo. The reptile cage got open.
Yeah, I was thinking, they just got to run around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see that. Ain't no lizards running around like that in Chicago. I heard a woodpecker and it startled me one morning. I said, what the fuck is that? It's a woodpecker. You never heard of no, where did I hear a woodpecker? I thought they was lying about Woody. They really do sound like that. They fucking lie, but that's how they sound.
It's like a gun going off. Like, what the heck? Good job.
Why is it so early? So, hey, you live and you learn,
Mm-hmm.
You learn something new every day. You gotta take that information with you. I was telling all my friends, woodpeckers really sound like that. In case y'all were wondering. Mm-hmm. Like, why the fuck do we need to know? I'm just telling you in case you ever hear.
And every once in a while you hear,
yeah, they got to laugh too. They wake you up and they fly by your window and laugh.
Well, you're in for some surprises in Florida, man. I the craziest stuff I've ever seen has been in Florida.
That's what everybody
between the wildlife and everything else, and man.
People, yeah.
I mean, the Florida man's a real thing, dog.
Yeah, they said the people wild in the fucking wildlife.
People ask me all the time, like, "Hey, when you move into Florida, like you're in the cigar business, like you can't be in California." I'm like, get the heck out of here, man. I don't know about that. I'd rather move to Texas or Dominican Republic. Like, Florida's crazy. And God love the people there. Because, I mean, if you're sane and you live in Florida, like, dude, you are a hard individual. You got the mental strength. Because, wow. I mean, the traffic's crazy. The people are nuts.
I mean, yeah. I experienced that a lot here. Trafficking crazy people.
My buddy Mark Gordon from La Galera just moved out there. He's representing the whole peninsula. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, like, how do you love it? He's like, it's awesome. It's crazy, but it's awesome. He moved from California to Florida just last year. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's a hard individual. He's got the mental fortitude of Fort Knox, man. So he can handle it. Shout out to Mark. Love you, Mark.
Shut up. All right, before we wrap it up, man, let the people know what you got coming up, man. What's on your schedule and how they can get in contact with your great cigars if they want to look up the cigar. Hold on.
For sure.
Before we get into that, I do remember. I got to get that website. That the one you had, that fucking monstrosity of a cigar that looked like my fucking tumbler. I'm a to my editor right now, Ken, bro. I'm gonna need you to take this part and write it down for me. Where do I get that cigar again?
You're talking about the Super Colosso?
Yeah.
The 90 by 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big one. Best Cigar Prices.
Okay.
We'll have it. It's online, bestcigarprices.com.
Order that.
Yeah, they got it in a Maduro and a Connecticut. It's a 6-hour smoke, man.
And what made you what made y'all do that?
Unless you're crazy. Well, I mean, it's the same mentality that gets you into the cigar business to begin with, which is you just take risks.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy asked for a big cigar. He came to the factory. He's like, I want to make a big cigar. Okay. So we made him like a 70 by 7 or something like that. He's like, no, bigger. I'm like, all right. So we took some leaf that we had. It's a single leaf on that wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
We bunched it. It was real rough in the beginning. But we just rolled the biggest cigar we could make with that single leaf. And it turns out it could be 11 inches by 90 ring gauge.
Sheesh.
He's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we just started making it. We thought it'd be a novelty, right? We just thought people buy it for a bachelor party or something like that. And that's it. 12 years later, we're still making that cigar and people are still smoking it, man. Some guys just want to have the biggest cigar in the cigar lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Like I walked into a cigar shop in Baltimore a couple of years ago and there was a dude actually smoking the Super Colosso. I don't know if you're familiar with Minas.
Yeah. His legacy now, but
Yeah. And she had it and some dude was in there smoking. And I'm like, damn, people do smoke that. That's crazy.
Now, coincidentally,
but some guys just want to have the biggest cigar.
Coincidentally, I used to work like literally down the street from that lounge. It was a Monroe Muffler there. I used to work there. Like I was literally like a couple feet away. But yeah, shit, I was when I was working, I went to school in Pittsburgh and I got the Big Woody and I'm sitting there at the lounge smoking it. They're like, what the fuck is that?
You need a tripod to smoke that cigar. Like, it's so long.
Like, is that a camera holder? I was like, no, man.
One thing, though, before we move on from that topic, Dinar over there at that lounge, God rest her soul, man. She was a saint.
Mm-hmm.
And we miss her. We miss her tremendously.
Yeah, I've stopped there.
Yeah, she was incredible.
Heard nothing but good things about her.
Yeah. She worked really hard to keep that shop moving.
Mm.
And I had the pleasure of meeting her several times and hanging out with her. And I took an order from her in like 2018 or 2019. I think it was 2019. And man, she exuded love and compassion. And she had a heart for this business. And she was one of the good folk. Yeah.
Definitely.
Dinar.
Definitely. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the outro, man. Like I was saying, let the people know what you got planned, what the company got planned, and how to get in contact.
Absolutely. So you can follow us on all the socials, Artista Cigars, Twitter, X, I don't know, Twex. Instagram is where we're going to post most of our stuff. It's going to keep it up to date with all our events and stuff that's going on, the latest. And then, of course, Facebook as well. If you want to take a look at what we got, what's our catalog and what's going on there, artistascigars.com. That'll lead you to the right spot. What's coming up for us right now that we're focused on, my friend, is PCA.
Yeah.
That's commanding our attention right now. And again, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be even talking to anybody right now, because we're like, our heads are so wrapped around this new PCA schedule, which is fine, but it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Because normally that stuff happens in July.
Yeah.
But it's happening in March this time. So a little bit like jumping onto a moving treadmill, because we went right from TPE into PCA mode. But the good news for everybody in the cigar business is we're going to be launching some new stuff in March instead of in July. So it gives you a little bit more time to smoke over the summer and into the fall. So we'll have a new Big Poppy project coming out in the next couple months. It's called the Hoff. That's for Hall of Fame. Very good cigar. We have it in a regular production size. We also have it in a limited edition Figurado. It's incredible. It's really, really, really good. We have a new Artista series coming out called the Falu. And Falu is a color of red that they actually paint the barns. You know, that red color barn that you see out there in the fields? Yeah, that's called Falu Red. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a broadleaf cigar. It's very, very strong. Very flavorful. Smoke it slow on a full stomach. And then we've got a few other things, kind of like low cost projects coming out, low cost cigars. But that's what's new from us, and you'll start seeing that in the trades and in the blogs and in the magazines coming probably sometime in April. You'll see it hit the press, and then after that we just hit the road, man. Do the trunk show. What's nice about PCA being a little bit earlier, is we get a lot more time. April, May, June, all the way through the end of the year to really push the new stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, like Mr. K out there for 9 months on the road. I might be completely nuts by December, man. I mean, I'm already 72% there. Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's how you can get a hold of us. Artistascigars.com. And if you can't find some shop that's near you, just send us an email. We'll find it out. We'll figure it out. We got people that will find a shop near you. And if we can't find a shop near you that carries what you're looking for, we usually have an online retail partner that can ship it to you.
Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. So everybody, make sure y'all check them cigars out, man. Thank you. It has been a pleasure, man, talking to you, man.
Brother, the pleasure is all mine.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, are you going to be out there at PCA?
No, we got an event. We got an event coming up in May in Vegas. So goddamn. So
okay.
PPE, I got going back in May. I'm in Tampa for Heritage Fest. And next year we definitely going, because we're gonna be down in because they're supposed to have New Orleans. We're gonna be down in the area anyway, so we definitely gonna do that one.
All right. Well, I'll miss you at PCA. But definitely, I'll catch up with you. Maybe we can get Ram on after PCA, and
I would love that.
You could break it all down with him and see how that goes.
I would definitely love that. All right, man. Thank you for coming on, everybody. Y'all have a good day. We out.
What's up, everybody? It's your local hero. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to like, share, subscribe. Catch us on YouTube, right here on YouTube. Make sure you catch us on YouTube. I want you to catch us on Facebook, Cigar Lounger Podcast, Rumble, Cigar Lounger Podcast, Spotify, Cigar Lounger Podcast, Anchor FM, Cigar Lounger Podcast, TikTok, Cigar Lounger Podcast. I want you to catch us on IG. You can catch us under The Gentleman or Cigar Lounger Podcast. Either one of those works. So go ahead. Thank you guys for liking the video. I hope you liked the video. And follow us on all our social media sites. We everywhere you get your shit from.